What is up, guys? We are back with another video. We have a lot to talk about today as severe weather is really ramping up. We have three big risks we got to talk about. We have Friday, Saturday, those are two biggest, and we also have another risk Sunday for the East Coast. We are going to be talking about the risk, maybe taking a little dive into it. We'll see what impacts certain people could see. All right, guys, let's get right into it. All right, guys, here is the day one risk for severe weather. Right now, we only have a marginal risk for parts of Alabama, Georgia, and parts of the Florida Panhandle. Nothing too big for that. A pretty decent 2% tornado risk, 5% wind, and 5% hail risk. Nothing too serious, but still, you gotta be weather aware no matter what, especially if you're in the marginal risk. But overall, not the biggest threat, but it's still something to just keep an eye on. And here is where the big risks start to come in. We have a day two moderate risk of severe weather for parts of Missouri, Illinois, and that's basically your main moderate risk. Anywhere in this red, you are in the moderate risk for severe weather. So that is going to be a level 4 out of 5 risk. And we're going to take a little dive into it. It is a big 10% significant chance for tornadoes, a big 45 sig for wind, and a pretty decent size 30% sig for hail. Pretty big risk, very widespread with these wind threats. With this 45 sig, we're gonna see scattered winds of 70 to 80, maybe even 90 miles an hour, and that is gonna be, probably the more bigger factor for tomorrow's threat. But as we go into day three, we'll take a look at it. You can't see the tornado threat. We'll just look at the probabilities because that's what we can see. But let's get right into the day three risk. All right, guys, this is another very big risk. This is what my personal opinion. I think that Saturday is gonna be the more worse threat out of these 3 days. As you can see, we also have another level 4 risk for parts of Louisiana, Alabama, and yeah. So overall, there's another big risk. So and also parts of Mississippi too. You're gonna see level 4 out of 5 risk. Now this one we can see that they have a big 45 sig for the probabilities for severe weather. This is probably like for day three. That's probably close to the highest that you can get for a day three outlook, which that is definitely not good. And we're gonna take a look at that. Some models are rendered in for Saturday's threat, but some aren't, and we're gonna have to wait till later on, like tonight and into tomorrow. So yeah, let's take a look at models real quick, y'all. All right, guys, here's the HRRR model. This is simulated reflectivity. This is what the radar could look like 30 hours out. This is for tomorrow's threat, tomorrow for Friday, that day 4 risk that I showed you at the beginning. And as you can see here, your storms start firing in this general area, and then within an hour, these storms grow very upscale really fast, like really fast, as you can see. And you could tell that the way that the storms look is a little like more bowed out, kind of like a big bow echo, which is an indicator of a wind threat, a very big wind threat. But all hazards are going to be possible tomorrow for this threat. And yeah, as you can see right here, it just keeps going. Definitely really big wind threat. All right, guys, here's the cape for tomorrow's severe weather threat. This is basically the instability. This is how much, like energy that the atmosphere is going to have. As you can see, we have excess of, 500 up to 1,000. And it's a very big warm sector. Like almost all this uncapped cape is going to be basically your warm sector. And yes, it looks like it might be getting capped. I mean, you have these big pockets of just uncapped where storms maybe could have a chance of firing. We'll never know because this is again 38 hours out. This is still very close to the event. It is the day before, so this is is starting to be a little bit of agreement, but this is not the day of. So this is set to change. Also for Saturday, it's definitely set to change. All right, guys, here's a 0 to 3 kilometer SRH, which stands for storm relative helicity. This basically is a form of like shear that we like to look at. And as you can see, anything in this green, even blues, greens, and yellows, that's definitely an indicator of a lot of SRH, which could lead to the potential of tornadoes. That's another thing that we look at and try to forecast some tornadoes. So definitely SRH in excess of 200, maybe even almost 300. So that is going to be this going to be a very widespread threat. That's why we have that very big 10 sig tornado threat. Like I showed you at the beginning, that is where it's coming from. You can see all this SRH values, which is definitely really crazy, honestly. All right, guys, here is your updraft helicity swath. This is basically it basically shows like the updraft tracks of what it could be. If you get into values of like green and even yellow or orange, it's very big indicator for strong updrafts. You know, we're gonna have a lot of forcing with this too. So there's gonna be another reason why we're gonna have that big wind threat, because the forcing itself is gonna bring a very big wind threat. So that's basically like that's your updrafts. That's basically what it could be. And these are like the tracks of it. But yeah, let's take a look at Saturday for any models that we can show for it. All right, guys, here is the simulated reflectivity again. This is on the NAM 3K model. I'm using the 12Z runs, y'all, at the time of recording this video. So this is about 11 a.m. on Saturday, and your storms will start to fire in Louisiana and Mississippi. That little area where I circled, that is gonna be like your area where it's gonna start, forming. And as you can see, all these oranges and reds, that's all these storms are gonna start forming. And if we go even later, you can see that it looks like it becomes a kind of like a QLCS kind of threat, and it's like a big line with probably lots of embedded supercells. With the environment that it's gonna have, it's definitely has the potential to drop some pretty decent tornadoes. And yeah, you can see, I know it's at the top of y'all's screen, but you can still see how big this threat is going to be. And the environment that it has, it's not going to make it any better at all. It's just going to look even worse, because this is definitely something. This is definitely something to really have your eye on. Definitely have your eye on. Hey guys, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the cape for Saturday also. All right, guys, here's your cape for Saturday. This is right now Saturday morning around 8 a.m. for parts of Mississippi. You can see all that cape in excess of 1,000 to 1,500 joules per kilogram. That is very sufficient for supercells and severe thunderstorms to form. That's more than enough that you need. And then as you go later on into the day with the daytime heating, you can see that it gets in excess of 2,000. It's definitely a lot of cape. So it's definitely a lot of energy in that atmosphere is gonna definitely be favorable for pretty big severe thunderstorms, supercells. And the more energy you have, maybe it also depends on the other ingredients. You may have more tornadoes. So that is something to keep an eye on. This is like, as you can see, this gets up to, this is 5 p.m. on Saturday. You get values up to 3,500 for a cape, which is a really high number. That's a lot of energy in the atmosphere at that time. And you can just see. And then as you go into the nighttime hours, it might start to get more capped. So maybe you might not have as many storms starting to fire up. But honestly, with this atmosphere, it wouldn't surprise me even if storms still fire. That's just something to just keep an eye on. And let's take a look at the 0 to 3 kilometer SRH again for Saturday. And y'all, here we go with the SRH values again. Like I said, anything above green, like green, yellows, and even reds, that is, going to be very, very sufficient for storms to have a chance of producing tornadoes. That doesn't always mean that they will. Not all storms produce tornadoes, but it gives us, a general, a general idea of where, storms might have the best environment for tornadoes or just supercells in general. And even if you go into midday, you can see those SRH values skyrocket to even red values of above 400 meters squared. And this is definitely something to really keep your eye on. If you want to, a professional forecast, You can search up your local National Weather Service and you see what their forecast is. But if you're in any of these risks, any of these at all, you definitely want to just be ready, be prepared, and see what your local National Weather Service has to say about this risk. But all right, guys, that is gonna be it for today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did enjoy, please like and subscribe, turn the post notification bell on so you do get notified when I do go live or make a video. And please share this channel with your friends and family. Let's get the word out to people. Let's let them know what weather's coming their way. And yeah, I will see y'all in the next video or live stream. Peace.